It is time for the Australia Cup semi-finals. Both matches coming up this weekend. South Melbourne FC taking on Macarthur FC. Melbourne Victory playing Adelaide United. We're going to be doing a full preview and predictions, and would love to get your thoughts on these two games in the comments. So feel free to join the conversation in the comments. Who are you tipping to go through to the Australia Cup 2024 final? Because it is tricky. It's not necessarily straightforward, and there's a lot of talking points heading into these games. First of all, let's talk about Melbourne Victory, Adelaide United, an original rivalry in the Australia Cup. These two teams have actually met 3 occasions in the Australia Cup competition over the past decade, and it's certainly Victory who have the form in recent years across the A-League competition. If you look back at their last 10 meetings, Adelaide have only won 1 game in those last 10 meetings between the two teams, impressively. From a Melbourne Victory point of view, Victory have been strong of late, grabbed a couple wins last season in the A-League and 1 draw as well. For Adelaide United, though, they have been a team who have really impressed this Australia Cup, and that win against Western Sydney Wanderers in the quarterfinals was a big result for them. If we look at Adelaide's results from the Australia Cup this year, 3-2 victory against Blacktown City. That game went to extra time, a 3-2 win against Olympic Kingsway, a team from WA, and then that quarterfinal win against Western Sydney Wanderers, which really, I guess that game sort of really, boosted their chances of potentially winning the Australia Cup again. Of course, they're the cup specialists. They've won it on 3 occasions previously. But that win against Western Sydney Wanderers, me personally, I tipped Wanderers to win that game, but Adelaide were really impressive the way they dug deep in a team that, look, defensively is still sort of a bit of a makeshift defence for Adelaide United, still missing Bart Vreens at the moment, but they've got some good players in midfield and attack who are doing the job at the moment for them, the Reds. For Melbourne Victory, having a look at their results, and it's a pretty stark contrast compared to Adelaide United's results. 4 goals on every single occasion, 4-1 against Lambton Jaffers, 4-0 against NWS Spirit, and then 4-0 against Boynton City Excelsior. They've been scoring goals for fun under new head coach Patrick Kisnorbo, and that's going to be the real concern for Adelaide United. If they want to get through to another Australia Cup final, they have to solidify themselves at the back, because Melbourne Victory will punish them. They have so many threatening players in the final third. And speaking of that final third, for my players to watch, I'm going for 2 key attacking players for both sides. Melbourne Victory, we have to talk about Nishan Velupillay. I was going to pick Nikos Vorgos. He's got a few goals in the Australia Cup already so far for his new team. But Nishan Velupillay, 5 goals in the Cup this year, 2 against Lambton Jaffers, 2 against NWS Spirit, and grabbed a goal last time around against Boynton City Excelsior. This is a guy who obviously has been involved in the Melbourne Victory system for a few years now, and could be set for a real big year where he takes his game to another level. He is in great form at the moment. Keep an eye on the young winger. And for Adelaide United, again, talking about the wingers, Austin Ayubi, he started on the left wing for Adelaide last week and scored a fantastic goal early on against West Sydney Wanderers from long range too, an absolute banger. Scored as well in the previous round, in the round of 16, so already has 2 goals in this cup run. And look, a lot of conversation around Adelaide United and who's going to sort of replace Nestor Irankunda. And over the past couple of years now, Adelaide have lost, key wide players. A couple of years ago, it was Craig Goodwin. Last season, now they've lost Nestor Irankunda. And for this year, Austin Ayubi could be that guy to step up and provide that spark in a wide position. And looking at that goal that he scored against Western Sydney Wanderers, he certainly has the ability to be that key attacking player in wide areas for the Reds. Zach Clough, keep an eye on him as well. He's been good in this cup also. Stephen Mork has been working hard as well. So it is a solid team that Adelaide have, especially in midfield. It's looking pretty consistent at the moment for them. In terms of my prediction, though, I'm going to have to back Melbourne Victory. And I think the home advantage does play a big factor. I think if Adelaide were hosting this game, I may have swung their way, but Melbourne Victory, with a home field advantage, with how strong they've looked in the Australia Cup so far, you simply just compare their results. It is favouring Melbourne Victory a little bit. They've just been, so dominant in their scorelines, at least, across the Australia Cup in the 3 games that they've played so far this year. I'm backing Melbourne Victory, but it could be close. I think Adelaide have shown enough in this cup so far that they could, push Melbourne Victory all the way, but Victory should have enough to get over the line in the end. I'm going to go 2-1 to Melbourne Victory. Next up, it's time to talk about South Melbourne hosting Macarthur FC. It's another trip down to Victoria for Macarthur. Their results so far, in the Australia Cup. The round of 32 saw them defeat O'Connor Knights 2-1 in Canberra. In the round of 16, a thriller 4-3 win over the Jets. A 1-0 win in the quarterfinals over Oakley Cannons. That trip to Victoria last week. And of course, as we spoke about last time around, that was the second time they'd beaten Oakley Cannons, and they'll be backing themselves taking on another NPL Victoria side here. But South Melbourne FC, this has obviously been an incredible year for them. They had a fantastic start to the final rounds of the Australia Cup, a 1-0 win against A-League opposition Wellington Phoenix. In the round of 16, a 3-2 win over Olympic FC, and then another 3-2 win in extra time over Hume City Victorian rivals. It's obviously been a fantastic year for South Melbourne this year. Winners of the Doherty Cup, finished top of the NPL Victoria this season, and they would love to add another trophy to the cabinet here by winning the Australia Cup, being the first NPL side to do so. The big concern for South Melbourne is no Harry Sawyer. He has signed with the opposition, Macarthur FC. It's a fascinating storyline, but of course, worth mentioning, Harry Sawyer will not be featuring in this game because he has already obviously featured in the Australia Cup for South Melbourne, so he is cup tied, won't be playing for Macarthur FC. But that would be crazy if he was able to take the pitch and potentially score against his former side. But that means for South Melbourne, they have to look at some of their other attacking outlets. Keep an eye on Andy Brennan, but the player to watch for me is Max Mikula. Scored in the quarterfinal match against Hume City, and he's the striker that maybe South Melbourne have to look at to replace Harrison Sawyer. Sawyer, obviously, tall, strong striker. Mikula, can he come in and sort of fill that role that Harrison Sawyer has been playing this season for South Melbourne? Big boots to fill, that is for sure. And for Macarthur FC, they've had a few players stand out in this competition, but Valerie Germain has been in good form of late. 3 goals in the last 2 games in the Cup. Scored the one and only goal in the quarterfinal against Oakley Cannons. When he gets his opportunity in front of goal, he usually takes it. And South Melbourne's solid defence will have to make sure they are once again strong in this game to deny the Frenchman in this match. In terms of a score prediction for this one, it's really, really tricky to pick. But Macarthur FC, I think they've shown us on a couple times throughout this Australia Cup run. It was that Newcastle game of the round of 16 that showed us that when their backs against the wall, in that game against the Jets, they were down 2-0 at halftime. And the way they responded, they came out, they attacked, and they ended up winning 4-3 in the end, scoring 4 goals in the second half. They showed they are able to switch it on, flick the switch, and break through past the adversity. And that might be the situation for them. Look, South Melbourne FC, huge occasion for the club. Australia Cup semi-final against an A-League opposition here. They'll be backing themselves against Macarthur FC to get the result here. But the Bulls, I think they'll get through in the end. I think it could well be close, and I would not be surprised if this game goes to extra time. I'm going to say 3-2 to Macarthur in the end. Possibly after extra time. So if my predictions ring true, that would leave a grand final of Melbourne Victory playing Macarthur FC. Feel free to drop your preview and predictions in the comments. How are you feeling about these games? Is there a clear favourite from here to win the Australia Cup? For me, it's still Melbourne Victory. They've just been so impressive this season. But we'll see how we go after the semi-finals this weekend. I'm very excited for it. I hope you guys are too. And make sure to stay subscribed for more Aussie football content here on Coast Watch Football. Hit the like button on the way out. My name's Lockie, this is Coast Watch Football, and I'll see you in the next one.